Hey guys, what's up? It's Maverick here, today with the grand finale of Kimetsu no Yaiba, Yuukaku-hen. So, apparently this is going to be 2 episodes in one, right? Or a slightly lengthened episode, which is a good thing, considering that there is still lots of stuff that I would like to know about, and considering the cliffhanger of an ending we had last episode, I was getting kind of worried that we weren't going to be able to fit everything within one episode, right? So, obviously at the end of last episode, Gyutaru exploded using his blood art and whatnot, apparently, taking everybody alongside him, right? All the demon slayers, like every single person. And obviously that's not the case, so we first have to figure out like what's gonna happen to Tanjiro and the others. How do they survive this explosion? Like who is going to be the mysterious benefactor, or do they actually find a way to some hidden reserve of strength to get through it themselves? And if they do, I'd be really curious like what kind of what kind of twist there is for that. And beyond that, though, I think there's also two other things that we need to look at, right? One is obviously the backstory for Daiki and Gyutaro. I do want to see them as well. I think they are definitely important enough that we should see a little bit more about the backstories that they had. It was hinted throughout the episodes, but still, we kind of have to have a conclusion to their story and their life, right? And then also, finally, we need to have like an aftermath of the situation. They just took down one of the upper six. This is going to cause some big waves throughout both the Demon Slayer side as well as the Demon side, right? So really, lots and lots of stuff to go through. In fact, even with this lengthened episode, I'm not sure if we can cover all of it, but hey, I sure hope they try. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah. Alright, that's kind of annoying. Just because this scene is both pretty and epic, I'll allow it. Typically, I really hate it when anime like puts too much of the recap at the beginning of an episode. Especially since we had that big cliffhanger and there's so much stuff we still need to go through here. Alright, about 1 minute. I think that's acceptable. Explosion! Nikero! Boom! I guess I shouldn't be acting so giddy and smiling. Oh, oh. So I guess it's Nezuko that's gonna help them get through it. Huh. So she has the power to negate blood art? Hey, getting right into it. Now this I appreciate, right? I think we don't need the opening for this last episode. Especially at this point. Holy crap, Nezuko is strong. Managed to save them all, eh? Or at least Tanjiro. Considering the entire... The rest? So who helped the rest of them? No? Well, if he's so energetic, I think, yeah, it should be okay. Yep. I think Zenitsu probably uh was the least injured out of all of them here. So I guess even if his heart wasn't really pierced, still blood loss, right? Oh wait, oh yeah, the poison. So Inosuke was also kind of bluffing when he said poison doesn't work on him. Hmm? Whoa. Holy crap, is there anything Nezuko can't do? What? Well, if you're this energetic, I guess Tengen is okay. Right? So, Nezuko to the rescue? Like I said, if they're so energetic, I think it should be okay. Don't worry, dude. Nezuko to rescue, right? She calls her One-san? Alright. Yeah, I realize you're much older than she is, right? Right. Okay, so it isn't really in recovery ability, but at least she can burn the poison away. Nope. Look at Chibi Nezuko. Oh yeah. Holy shit, I completely forgot about this subplot already. Oh man, I was wondering like what the hell he was doing. Huh. Their heads? Their butt. Oh yeah, their heads. How can they survive for so long? Holy shit. Alright, they are going. Honestly, it definitely was hubris that they were defeated here. We're gonna see some sibling love at the very end. Ooh, that's harsh, Daki. Respect to Tanjiro here. Full respect. Now, what's your name?
俺の中で何かが変わり始めたのは梅が生まれてからだ。
Oof. That's how she looked?
俺の自慢だったな。年山行かない頃から大人がたじろぐほど綺麗な顔。
Holy crap.
俺は自分が喧嘩に強いと気づいて取り立ての仕事を始めた。誰もが俺を気味悪がって恐れた。気分が良かった。自分の醜さが誇らしくなり、お前のように美しい妹がいることは俺の劣等感を吹き飛ばしてくれた。これから俺たちの人生はいい方へかせ。
Alright, so what happened?
梅が13になるまでは
She was burned to death?
客の侍の目玉をかんざしでついて失明させたので、その報復として梅は縛り上げられ、生きたまま焼かれた。俺はいなかった。仕事から戻ったらお前は丸焦げになっていた。やめろやめろやめろ、俺から取り立てるな。何も与えなかったくせに取り立てやがるのか。許さねえ、許さねえ。元に戻せ俺の妹。でなけりゃ神も仏もみんな殺してやる。
こいつで間違いないか。
はい、そうでございます。感謝いたします。厄介払いができてよかった。本当に凶暴でね。取り立て先で大怪我させたり、最近ではもう歯止めが効かなくて。梅のことは残念でしたけど、可愛い子を見つけたらまた紹介しますので、お金の方を。
まあ待て、とどめを刺してからだ。
Oof. Damn.
お前、いい着物だな。清潔で肌ツヤも。
This is before he became a demon. Wow.
綺麗な布団で寝てんだな。生まれた時からそうなんだろう。雨風しのげる家で暮らしていいな、いいな。そんなやつが目玉一個なくしたぐらいでギャーギャーピーピーと。
Damn, this guy's good.
誰も助けちゃくれない、いつものことだ。いつも通りの俺たちの日常。
And so here's where Muzan came, right?
人間はいなかった。雪が降り始めた。どんな時だって全てが俺たちに対して容赦をしなかった。
Getting some Grave of the Fireflies vibe here.
家福は欺える縄のことしたろ。いいことも悪いことも変わる変わる来いよ。
どうしたどうした、かわいそうに。俺は優しいから放っておけないぜ。その娘間もなく死ぬだろう。
Yeah, it's just the sixth one.
お前らに血をやるよ。
Huh.
二人ともだ。
So these two took his place?
あの子を守れば鬼となれる。命というのは尊いものだ。大切にしなければ。さあ、お前らは鬼となり、俺のように銃を築き、上限へと上がってこれるかな。
鬼になったことに後悔はねえ。俺は何度生まれ変わっても必ず鬼になる。幸せそうな他人を許さない。必ず奪って取り立てる金太郎になる。ただ、もし唯一心残りがあるとするならば、
Hmm?
梅、お前は俺と違ったんじゃないかってことだ。もっといい店にいたなら、
Hmm?
花いらんに。普通の親元に生まれていたなら、普通の娘に。
I have to say, interesting hair choice though.
上品な娘
Hair color choice.
じゃないか。染まりやすい素直な性格のお前だ。俺が育てたためにお前はこうなっただけで。
Hmm.
奪われる前に奪え。取り立てろと俺が教えたから。お前は侍の目玉をついたが。
Okay. I like this part of the story, but if so, then I do kind of wish that we saw a little bit more of their interactions.
俺の唯一の心残りはお前だったな。
Yeah, I like the angle that he's trying to go, or I guess the author is trying to go for here. But
地獄か。
お兄ちゃん、やだ、ここ嫌い。どこなの？出たいよ、なんとかして。
お前、その姿。
そっちが出口？
お前はも
don't follow me. Yeah. And then she's gonna be like, "But you're my brother."
さっきのこと怒ったの？謝るから許してよ。お兄ちゃんのこと醜いなんて思ってないよ。悔しかったの。負けて悔しかったの。私のせいで負けたって認めたくなかったの。ごめんなさい。うまく立ち回れなくって。私がもっとちゃんと役に立ってたら負けなかったのに、いつも足引っ張ってごめんなさい。ねえ、お兄ちゃん。
う、お前とはもう兄弟でもなんでもない。俺はこっちに行くから、お前は反対の方、明るい方へ行け。おい、
やだ、離れない。絶対離れないから。ずっと一緒にいるんだから。何回生まれ変わっても私はお兄ちゃんの妹になる。絶対に。私を嫌わないで、叱らないで、一人にしないで。置いてったら許さないわよ。ずっと一緒にいるんだもん。ひどい、ひどい。約束したの覚えてないの？
Oh, as an older brother myself to a younger sister, this definitely sort of kind of hits a resonance with me.
全然いいんじゃない。約束する。ずっ
I see. These are the scenes I want to see, right? The interactions between these two in their former life. That's what I want to see more of. Nope, but they still have to head toward their darkness. Because there's no redemption for them. Yeah, it's over. It's all over. Oh. No. Oh. This is It's been a while since we saw it. Eek! Oh, I think he's retiring. Hmm? That's what they promised, right? Oh, so is this just start the next story? Next arc? Oh, dude. Yeah, he's getting re. So they haven't defeated one of the upper 12 or upper 6 in 100 years? Is that what they're implying here? So blemish on my family, eh? Huh. I think it was back in season 1. I was contemplating this sort of oh, hold that thought. Is that 3? I think it's at 3. I was thinking like what was the relationship between the master and Muzan. Oh no. Yep, 3. Oh. I guess it's time for them to all watch the fireworks? Question mark. Although I don't really think anybody should be putting out fireworks at this point in time. That's a good ending after all. Oh, just like that? No more? I guess they're saving the actual sort of aftermath until uh the next series, I guess. If they've announced it, anyways. Actually, let me quickly skip ahead to see if there's anything else after this, because there might be. So, I'll see you guys after this. Well, guys, that was the end of Yuukaku-hen, and apparently the sequel has already been announced. So we are getting a new arc. Don't really know when. Some people are saying it's 2023 or something of that sort. It wasn't actually announced within the anime. I checked the official Twitter, and they announced it there. Apparently, I think it's called the Swordsmith Village arc. That's the English translation for it. Katakana Kaji no Sato, right? And Hen, right? The arc. But anyways, so of course they are going to continue adapting this. Was there really any doubt about that? Like, come on, guys, Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer, one of like the biggest animes in recent times. But yeah, anyways, we'll cross that part when we get there. Obviously, once it releases, we will be watching it. But until then, let's talk about this arc, and particularly this episode, right? So, in the end, there were actually some reinforcements coming, although, just as usual, all entirely too late. So, it's still, at the end of the day, it was still our heroes, our protagonists themselves that handled the situation. And in this case, it was Nezuko that stepped up once again, right? She is certainly full of surprises, right? And man, that is like one convenient healing ability, right? I'm not talking about the way that she healed the poison one. I'm talking about Nezuko herself, right? Expend some energy, turn into chibi form, go to sleep. Once she takes a nap, she can, reuse her powers once again. And dude, she not only negated a lot of the damage of the blood art that that Guildharu released, right? That kind of destruction and carnage, and yet, for most of the people there, for our heroes, they didn't really receive any secondary wounds or injuries, right? So there's that part, and then she can actually use her own blood art to cure the poison that was given to them. So quite convenient, I must say, and also quite convenient that the wounds they received, both Inosuke and Tanjiro and Tengen, they weren't exactly like fatal injuries in the sense of having some major organs being punctured or something of that, or like major blood loss or major cuts, something of that sort, but rather just poison, which Nezuko just somehow was able to cure. But hey, like I said, it is shonen. I would highly doubt that any of the core 3, or I guess core 4 if you include Nezuko, would be killed. And just judging from how the opening went and how they sort of like had these reverse death flags within their storyline and whatnot, I was saying that there was a pretty good chance Tengen and the other and his wives would survive as well. And so yeah, at the end of the day, they survived. He's gonna retire and go off and do whatever he likes to do. He's going to leave this life behind. He can't really fight all that well now anyways. I mean, I'm sure he's still much better than your run-of-the-mill Demon Slayer, but still, I think he has earned it, right? Defeating an upper demon since who knows how long. Apparently, if if the guy is to be believed, Kageyai is supposed to be believed was like 100 years already, right? They've definitely been receiving more they've been more on the receiving end of the beatings than than the others. So unfortunately we didn't really get to see the aftermath of all of that. We only know that one of the upper threes was summoned by Muzan. Apparently this is a big deal since it's been so long since one of them have been defeated. But I guess we'll learn a little bit more about all the supposed ripples or all the omens that it represents in the next arc, right? So moving on from that, I guess the big story here, what took up most of the time is indeed the backstory between Daki, or I guess of Daki and Gyotaro, right? Or I guess Ume and Gyotaro. I guess it wasn't really anything too out of the norm. You could pretty much guess that was the story that they had, even just through the bits and excerpts from within the other episodes. I was kind of meh about it. To be honest, I was actually looking much more forward to sort of the sibling relationship that Gyotaro and Ume had, in their former lives, right? Whilst they were still human. And we only saw a little bit of that at the very end there. The entire spiel about Gyotaro being like, oh, hey, I have this really beautiful sister, she's my pride, and I wish she could have led a better life, she shouldn't have it was because of me that she got into this life and this kind of situation and all that. I see what they're going for there, but I just feel like we weren't really left with enough of like when Gyotaro mentions how, okay, he was the one that educated her, he was the one that taught her to be like him, to think like him, and all that. I wish we could have seen that gradually happen within the flashback, rather than just one scene where we see Gyotaro really protecting Ume there, shielding her from the cold and whatnot. I mean, it was great, but I actually was expecting a lot more of that to be in there, if you will. So I guess I was a little bit disappointed at that part. I do really like the ending scene that these two had, though. Sure, it was sappy and whatnot, but again, I guess for me, because I am a brother to a younger sister as well, and we are also the only two siblings within our family, it kind of does strike a chord of resonance within me, that entire thing. Although I'm sure that most brother sister relationships and whatnot, or heck, even just sibling relationships, probably understand that it rarely works out to be so idealistic and so full of love and charm and whatnot. But make no mistake, we love our family members. It strikes a chord of resonance, but at the same time, it's kind of awkward. I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure that if you are a sibling yourself, you might also have that kind of feeling, especially if you're not particularly close to your sibling, like in the case of Nezuko and Tanjiro. I'm not saying like me and my sister are enemies or anything. It's just that we're not actually all that close, right? There is an age gap and whatnot, so it turns out to be a little bit awkward as well. But I think at the end of the day, it is still a positive feeling, right? Caring for your siblings, caring for your family, and that's of that sort. So I did like the ending scene that they had there, and I also really like that they showed them walking towards darkness, towards the fires and flames, instead of walking towards the light, right? Because at the end of the day, even though the author always tries to humanize them at the very end there, really, I guess one guy mentioned this last episode, which I think summarized it best, and that is Tanjiro at the end of the day still views them as humans, that he's doing them a favor by killing them and releasing them back to their human forms and whatnot, and I think that is really reflected in how every single, especially more of the important demons, are treated, right? We understand their backstory, and they at least are at peace with themselves at the very end, right? And speaking of which, I really respect Tanjiro and how he sort of mediated the argument between the demon siblings at the very end there. Even though he literally almost died and whatnot, he's still at the very end of the day, he won. He's taking the higher road, he's taking the moral high ground, and allowing them to reconcile, because hey, as he said, you know, you got nobody left, nobody's going to love you, nobody's going to forgive you and whatnot. At the end of the day, you only have each other, right? So that was nice. I mean, I do harp on Tanjiro sometimes for being this sort of goody two shoes, very straight laced kind of character. I will fully admit that it's not exactly my favorite type of archetype, you know, the typical shonen archetype, if you will. But you know, full respect for Tanjiro here at the very end. At the very least, right? He completely walks the walk, talks the talk, and walks the walk there. So you know, full applause for him there. What else at the very end? Yeah, I mean, I was expecting a little bit more in terms of the aftermath and whatnot, but I guess they are just saving it for the next arc here. So overall, because this is the end of this particular arc, right? So how do I feel about this particular arc, the entertainment district or red light district arc here? I would say, you know, once we really got into it, like episodes 8, 9, 10, 11, right? Once they really got to the fighting part, oh, that was great, right? But I do kind of feel that they definitely talked a little bit too much, in a sense. You know, I'm not actually a guy who only watches this for the dialogue. I mean, for the fights and whatnot. But I do have this kind of feeling that the dialogue kind of dragged out. Like, we didn't really gain any important information or important character development or plot development from some of the banter that they had back and forth. It wasn't really funny. It wasn't really all that entertaining. So I do feel like it was kind of dragged out a little bit. And that includes from the beginning as well. Now, Well, I was going to say that I feel like the entire sort of go undercover and investigate thing was kind of like a side story that went really nowhere. But I guess it was funny for the 1 or 2 episodes that it lasted, right? And they did have to go in and investigate and all that. So I guess I can't really complain too much about that. It's just yeah, I feel like, even though, here's what I think. So originally, going into this, because I'm going into this completely blind, right? I didn't read the manga or anything because I like to have these blind reactions. So originally I thought, hey, they're going to have to go undercover for quite some time and uncover some clues, and you know, is it actually this girl? Is it actually that girl? And you know, that kind of thing, right? But no, they pretty early on, they kind of already knew where they were going to investigate, who they were going to investigate, and the demon actually showed herself, right? So you know, very early on, I was like, oh, okay, so actually this was just a false how can I say, this is just a diversion. You know, we're not really going to do too much there. We're immediately going to go into the confrontation and whatnot. And yet no, because from the moment that I did think that a confrontation would happen, we dragged out another 3 or 4 episodes before we actually got into the fighting and all that. So yeah, I'm kind of lukewarm about that part. Now, the actual fighting scenes and animations there were definitely stellar, right? Personally, I still feel like the episode before the last one, right, the one where they almost were on the verge of victory before, you know, having a plot twist there, right? I still think that is my favorite episode in terms of the pacing, in terms of the animation, and the hype around it. I know a lot of people still love last episode as well, because they finally, you know, managed to take down Gyotaro and Daki, but I mean, we each have our preferences, right? So I guess that's what I want to comment on in terms of the pacing and fighting wise and whatnot. Tengen's inclusion as a character and you know, his wives and whatnot, I mean, they were it was nice comic relief, I'll admit. One thing that I do wish they kind of also, I do like that they went back to some of the flashbacks between Tengen and them, and allowed us to see them interact a little bit more. I would honestly say it was all too short, if anything. One other thing that I do feel wasn't really mentioned all that well, although I'm not sure if this is because probably the manga didn't really mention this all that much either, is still, the sound breathing style, right? Like, what exactly is it supposed to be about? What are its strengths? What are its weaknesses, pros and cons, and whatnot? We finally get to see a very unique sort of breathing style here, of sword style here, and yet, after the entire arc has ended and apparently Tengen is about to retire, I'm still quite puzzled as to what the entire, sound breathing style actually is, right? We know it has something to do with sound. We know it's fast. We know, explosions happen all around, like firecrackers go all around when he's using it. But so what, right? That's the main point that I have here. So yeah, so that's a part that I do wish they kind of touched on a little bit more. And as for the rest, yeah, I don't really think there's too much else to add here. We did get a little bit further into the entire, the sun breathing style, or the, the dance, if you will. But I guess that's all we have for now. We still need to go forward. Definitely Tanjiro showed a lot of growth in this particular arc though. He's shown that he can stand with the big boys, his determination, his willpower, and his skill as well, right? You can have all the determination and willpower you have, but if you don't have the goods, right, you don't have the skill, that still amounts to nothing, right? So Tanjiro has definitely proven himself in this arc here, alongside Inosuke and Netsu as well, right? So I think another promotion is in order. And I would venture a guess and say Tanjiro was eventually going to walk on the path of becoming a Hashira, question mark. But we'll see about that, right? We shall see about that. Oh, and I guess speaking of side plots and side stories, we did see another glimpse of that in this episode with the gathering of the blood and whatnot. Like, seriously, that was such a long time ago, I've almost completely forgotten about that. But hey, it is still alive and well, and, we're still going forward with it, right? I do kind of feel that, well, actually, no. I was going to say, I was kind of wondering whether or not we had a little bit too much plot armor and, Deus Ex Machina and whatnot. But, at the end of the day, I feel like everything occurred as it should. We do see, I guess Tanjiro powered up a little bit too much, to be honest. Same with Nezuko as well, but yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? At the very least, they all relied on stuff that was mentioned before. Tanjiro's breathing style was mentioned before. Nezuko, her ability, we've seen before as well, right? This is not the first time that she came in at a crucial moment to save everybody. Is it a little bit too convenient? Maybe, but hey, this is a shonen, and to be honest, I think we were all expecting, even blind viewers like me, we were all expecting Nezuko to actually do something great within this arc anyways, because that was the only logical conclusion, right? Once you've expended all the manpower on the protagonist side, hey, who's left? Nezuko! Right? So we have that. But yeah, overall, quite solid. I do also love the specific aesthetic that they are going for here, especially because it is the red light district, right? I do love that part. And I do feel in a way that this is much more darker than even the Infinity Train arc and in season 1 as well. Like, don't get me wrong, there was plenty of bloodshed and gore and whatnot in the previous arcs and stuff as well, and we do see a lot of people dying and whatnot, right? But for some reason, I feel like they kind of displayed it a little bit more so here in this particular arc. I don't know if it's just it's just my imagination or something like that, but the way that the injuries occurred, right? Like being slashed, losing an arm, losing a hand, or Tengen's injuries, the injuries to the bystanders, right, to the civilians, also Tanjiro's 2 fingers, right, they really focused a lot on his fingers in these last 2 episodes after they were broken, right? So you definitely do get this feeling that they kind of upped the sort of darkness level a little bit for this arc, but then again, I've never really understood why people view this as a sort of children's anime, as a children's work, and especially when we're talking about like stuff as the Red Light District and whatnot. I think it's a fair point to kind of, you know, raise the rating a little bit there, and give it a much more darker and a much more grim vibe to it, which it should, right? It absolutely should. Hey, they got their asses kicked here, and you know, at the end of the day, it was still, I still believe it was due to sort of like hubris from Gyotaro and Daiki. You know, they were just too full of themselves. They grew complacent. That was their downfall. They didn't really finish off all the Demon Slayers when they had the chance to, and you know, that's your own fault, right? Suck it up, baby. So yeah, anyways, that's it for this particular arc. Again, you know, we are going to be having another arc adapted, so hopefully I will see you guys then. In the meantime, you know, this particular season, I'm not really watching all that much due to my own schedule and whatnot. And probably there's not going to be too much other stuff from this season. I am going to be utilizing this time slot to go back into some other of my to-watch list, non-seasonal anime from the past. So, you know, stick around, search a little bit to see if there's anything that catches your attention, and if not, well, hopefully I will see you guys next time. So until then, stay safe, guys, and bye-bye.